And hello, everybody. Here we are for another episode of the I Told You Show. And once again, in the studio with me today is Candy. How are you doing today, Candy?
I'm doing great, Alan. How's your day today been out at the library?
Well, I'll tell you, it was a long day today. I was out at the library all day handing out information to various voters and talking to them. And although I had a really great day and got to talk to a whole bunch of people, it was hot and tiring.
Yes, it is hot and it is tiring being out
Yeah.
there. But so many of you guys are out there trying to get people in to vote, trying to get people out to vote, and trying to get them to vote for you. And I think that's good. I didn't see a lot of people out there today. I saw a few of you guys out there today. Most of the people I voted for, I saw out there today.
Yeah. Well,
So
uh,
doers are doing.
I'll give other candidates a little bit of a break in that there are other locations that they may have been at. I was at the library today. I'll be at the library all day tomorrow. And then again on Tuesday, I'm not exactly sure because then you have to vote at your precinct. So if you vote tomorrow, Saturday, tomorrow's the last day. If you vote tomorrow, Saturday, you can vote at either the library in Palm Coast, you can vote at the Palm Coast Community Center, or you can vote at the SOE office. But on Tuesday, you have to go to your actual precinct to vote, which means you have to know what your precinct is.
You have to know your district, find your precinct,
Yeah.
and then you got to find where your precinct.
Yeah, so it's easier just to do the early voting. And I talked to so many people today. If you listeners might be able to hear that my voice is a little hoarse. Hopefully it's better by tomorrow. But anyway, do we have any questions, any topics? What are we going to discuss tonight?
Yeah, we were going to talk about a few things. I think I heard from Councilwoman Pontieri last night, and I know that you had heard from somebody as well regarding the farmer market being shut down over at Texas Roadhouse.
Yes.
And I just would I'm going to let you go ahead and just clear that up for everybody, so everybody knows who is and who is not responsible, so we can kind of let everybody know.
Sure.
You know more than I do.
Sure. Well, I got lucky today and I was able to talk to some people, and it appears that the city itself was not involved in shutting down the farmers market. What actually appears to have happened is that there's an HOA for their commercial, the stores and the parking lot and all the stuff over there. And apparently
That whole piece of property right there.
yeah, it's under some type of HOA from the owners or the owner association of all the businesses. And there was some kind of issue with doing outside events in the parking lot. So I'm sure that's going to get handled. So I'm just happy that it wasn't the city that shut it down. It's just a little wording issue that they have to figure out.
Right. And I'm glad that that's going to get handled too, because everybody was really starting to come out to that, come together. And it was a great event over on this side of town. So I'm excited for it to get started back up. And I just wanted to let Alan clear that up for everybody, because we both got a little bit of more information since we've been on our social media.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see. I think we were going to talk about voting here. I know I've been out talking to a lot of people as well, and I talk to people everywhere, even if I'm getting gas. And I know a lot of people don't know that we have a primary here and then a general election, and they don't
Yeah.
understand how important the primary is. So can you kind of explain that to people that don't understand how the voting goes here?
Well, what a lot of people think is that the federal elections, voting for president and everything, is extremely important, and it is, but everything actually starts on a local level. So the things that happen around town, the need to fix the swales, the need to fix the infrastructure or the roads or the water treatment plant, or whether you want to increase or decrease development and stuff like that's all a local level issue. And the primary, and I'm going to speak, for instance, for the mayoral primary because I am running for mayor. In the mayoral primary, there are currently 5 candidates. 2 are going to pass through to go to November, the top 2 in the race. And I have no idea who that is. I hope I'm one of them. However, people that do not vote in the primary may not be able to vote for the person that they were going to vote for in November because they may not make it through, and it might just be because the people didn't vote. I didn't look this afternoon, but as of this morning, only 16% of the voters in Palm Coast have voted. And remember, tomorrow, Saturday, is the last day of early voting that you can vote, at the library at the community
It's so
center,
much
at the
easier to
assembly.
early vote here. I've learned that over the last 10
Oh,
years.
yeah.
It's so much easier to early vote here. I want to stress to everybody, we have only 17% of people turned out so far to vote. And we're almost done with a whole week of early elections. A whole week. And we're only at 17%.
Yeah.
I just can't believe I know how conservative and political this town is. Everybody has their values and things that they want from the city and they want to move forward, and they're so vocal about it, but they don't go vote. And you can't complain about something or want change if you don't go affect the change yourself. It takes every single person's vote to add up, to count, so we can see as a whole who we want as a whole to move forward and with that vision, whichever one that is.
Yes.
We're going to have to get behind whoever wins. We're going to
Yes.
have to get behind whoever wins. I hope it's Alan for the best of our city. It should be Alan. He's earned it. He's been busy in the community. He's helped people. He's ran before. Abraham Lincoln ran 8 times before he ever got elected. Could you imagine if he gave up before the 8 times where we might be today? So I don't want to hear, oh, you're running again, or oh, you ran again.
Yeah.
If people that care keep running until they win. Keep that in mind.
It's funny because, there's the old adage that if at first you don't succeed, try again. And apparently it's if you don't succeed, try again, unless you're in politics, in which case quit and get out of the way, which
Right.
is just ignorant to me. But at any rate,
When something really matters to you, you will fight for it
fight
for as
for
long
it.
as it takes. I mean,
Yes.
that's the true American spirit,
Yeah.
if you ask me. And
But one of the important things also about this primary is that some of the races, some of the school board races, some of the county commission races will be decided in the primary
Right.
because there's only 2 people in the race.
so if they get more than 50% of the vote,
No,
they automatically
no,
win.
2 people. Whoever has the most votes out of the 2 people wins.
Oh, it doesn't. The
Could-
percentage isn't counted. It's just
doesn't
the number
count.
of votes.
Just the number of votes. So
Wow.
if you're thinking about voting for some of the school board candidates, but you don't want to do it until the general election in November, that race may not be there. It may already be decided. So
Right.
you have to vote now.
Right. You
Yeah.
have to vote now. Like literally, our primary is really pretty much our local election.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It pretty much is. It breaks all the mayors down, all the people that are running down to 2 people. The races that are already 2 people, somebody will automatically win that by the most votes. So you really got to get out, and you really got to get out and vote. I mean, 17%.
It's disgusting.
That is just horrible. I just can't believe that people can't take. It doesn't even take that long if you go today or they're closed today, but if you go tomorrow, it's going to take you like 10. It's going to take you longer to drive there, literally, than it is to do it.
Yeah, that's
And then
true.
you can know that you gave your voice and that your choice was heard. And maybe you might be surprised. You might be with the rest of the people and be voting for the person that wins. You might be that one extra vote that they need. They may win by 1 vote and it might be your vote. So please, if you want somebody specific on the ballot, you have to go vote. Early vote tomorrow or Tuesday during the general, which you'll have to go to your precinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully people are listening to that because honestly, I've had many people come up to me not realizing that the primary was important
Right.
and also not knowing who to vote for.
A lot of people here are new and they don't know who to vote for. I've ran into people at the gas station, at the grocery store, and you know me, I talk to everybody. So I try to fill them in, but we only have those signs, those flashing signs that say early voting is this day to this day. They only put them on Palm Coast Parkway. Why don't we have them over on State Route 100? Why don't we have them like on a couple other streets, maybe on Colbert Lane? Maybe another one over down, near the Matanzas section, like down Old Kings on that end. They only have those 2 signs. And I think if we put the signs up a little bit earlier and we spread them out more, like put more of them out, I think that would help voter turnout because a lot of people don't even know.
No.
They don't even know that we're having an election.
And they're looking at all these giant candidate sign farms, and a lot of people are complaining about the sign farms. And yet they're not putting 2 and 2 together that the sign farm is because there's an election and the election is now.
Right.
It's not tomorrow someday. It's now.
It's right now. So everybody says they want change. Better go vote.
We got to go vote. So
Gotta
what
go
else do we have?
I was going to talk about like a couple other things, but we kind of just touched on all of them. already, and I apologize if you have something you would like to talk about while I go back here, because there's some things we can't talk about today. We got told not to.
Yeah,
So,
we got told not to
yeah,
talk
so we're
about
not
some
going to talk
things.
about that. Um, I mean, today I am so tired. I'm so excited at the same time. I know we talk about the same things over and over again, but I want to just hammer it home about Alan. I know I'm on his show, so I'm going to say this again. Alan's been here for 41 years. He's going to be here. He's been here. He's been trying to get our voices heard. He's been trying to get the things fixed now that are coming to a head. Now they're coming to a head. A lot of ideas that Alan's had, they're enacting those ideas now. So if Alan didn't have good ideas, why would they be using some of them now? I'm just saying. So I want somebody that can go day one and start day one and start adjusting some of these things.
Yeah.
Looking at all the different codes that we have for the parking in the driveway with the things on the side, have a committee go through each and every one of those and maybe revise some of those things. Look at how we can kind of slow the building down, how we can divert money or find more money for the infrastructure. I want somebody that can go in day one and start lining these things up and getting these things done. And we don't have time for somebody to go in and take a month or two to learn how things work or to learn what the actual problems are or how they can fix them. Because
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody say how but you.
Well, and that's true. I've been going to city council meetings, or listening to them, on the YouTube channel,
Right.
pretty much for 5 years.
Yeah.
And other people have been doing it much longer than I have, but none of the candidates have. So I've been listening and attending city council meetings over the past 5 years. I cannot tell you how many times I've stood at the podium and either praised or argued or brought up issues. But I find it really important that when you go up to the podium with an issue, you bring a solution with you. And it may not be the correct solution. It might not be the solution that actually works in the end. But I don't think it's right to go up to the podium and complain and then walk away. If
Yeah.
you've got something to complain about, give them ideas on what they can work with to fix the issue. So I've done that. I don't know how many times I've done that. And I find it interesting too because, the dredging of the saltwater canals is a hot topic for some people because they don't think that people that don't live on the saltwater canal should have to pay for the saltwater canal dredging. Well, that's an entirely other issue. But one of the interesting things is a few years ago when the dredging issue came up, I contacted one of the largest dredging companies on the east coast of the United States, and they happen to live in Bunnell. And I contacted that company, and the job was too small for them. But they gave me the name of a person that does the surveys and the depth readings and can help with the permits for the Army Corps of Engineers and so forth. I gave that info. Well, actually, I contacted them, and they gave me a bid to give to City Council of I think it was $20,000 or $25,000. But City Council didn't like that, so they went out and got their own guy, and I believe that one was $250,000. I think.
It was a lot more. I don't
Yeah.
remember what the exact numbers were, but I
Yeah,
remember that.
it was minimum of $100,000 more. So why are we wasting money when there was a much lesser bill, and the ones that did go and do the survey didn't do any paperwork for permits, so we have to go back and have that done if we move forward with the dredging issue. So yeah, I brought a lot of things to the city council, a lot of things up to the podium, a lot of things they didn't listen to, like I brought up speed humps and things like that they're
Right.
now a couple of years later saying, oh, you know what, maybe we should
might.
do speed humps.
Yeah, maybe we
So
might try those.
none of the other candidates have been going to, even our current mayor has not been going to city council meetings as long as I've been going to city council meetings. And he sure as heck never stood up at the podium as an unelected official as many times as I have. In fact, none of the, if in the past year where two of the candidates came out of the blue in the past year and a third one only a couple of months ago, if they stood at the podium at every city council meeting, they still would not match what I've done over the last 5 years. So, I'm going to toot my horn. I've been
You have
active.
been there, and I've been telling people that you've been there. I've been telling people that. And you brought up the canals. So I just wanted to bring up something since I'm kind of the head of flooded in Flagler County.
Yeah.
I have tried to attend the Citizens Advisory Board on flooding meetings. However, those are on Wednesday nights, and since I'm already changed my schedule for Tuesday nights for city council and things like that, I can't attend those meetings. So I kind of find out stuff from a couple of the people on the board via text message or email or things like that. So the canals, I hear people saying, well, why should we pay for the canal if we don't live on the canal? It's not, we shouldn't pay for it. But what
Right.
people don't realize is that we have a way the water drains out of the city. And I learned this at the meeting I was able to go to. It has to go from the swales to the canals, okay?
Yep.
And there's ditches that connect, and there's ditches and swales. There's like bigger ditches between the houses that go to the swales in front of the houses. Basically, all the water goes from the ditches to the swales, and then from the swales to the canals. The canals will fill up, and they have things at the end called a weir. A lot of our stormwater money has went for the weirs that they just replaced the last one, I think this past year or early this year. I can't remember the date, but they just replaced one. And what that is, it's kind of like an up and down thing, like a lever that's in the canal. And what that does is raises and lowers. If they know a storm's coming, they're going to lower it and let all the water out of the canals. So the canals have to be dredged all through the city because the water from the swales goes into the canals
The siltation
to
builds
go
up.
out to sea. So we all need to worry about dredging the canals, whether it's living on the canal or the canals off Royal Palms or the canals that run. They're all the same canal. It's all the same thing. They all have to be dredged at the silt so the water can drain to sea, because that's the last place it goes before it goes out to sea. So
Exactly.
it's all connected. So some of our stormwater fee money does pay for those hard structures. They call it hard something. It's things that they buy and replace. It has went for that, and now they're starting, and I think it's because Flooded in Flagler doing the swell maintenance in a different manner instead of just setting up the pattern of how they're going to do it years and years ago. Now they're going to the problem areas first and working their way out, which is what they should have been doing all along.
Right.
They're getting more done now.
And we need more
Teams.
swale teams. We used to have, it was either 4 or 5 swale teams, and we're down to 2 now. 2 teams can't keep up with it.
No.
And that's one of the reasons I believe, back in 83 when I moved to Palm Coast, I went to work with my dad. And he was a builder, not a developer, single family home builder. I went to work with him, and when the house was finished and the sod was put down, back then it was ITT, but it might have been the county that did the actual survey. But they would come out and survey the swales to make sure the slope was in the right direction, that the water would flow towards these drainage ditches and the culverts and all of that, so it could be taken away. But then we dwindled down the teams of the swale
Right.
teams. We dwindled them down and dwindled them down. So now they can't keep up. So the previous times when the swales were designed to flow has changed to percolation. Now they tell everybody, well, the water's supposed to percolate down through the swale, and that's why your swale holds water. What they don't look at is the fact that there's, in many areas, a layer of clay about 2 feet down, and clay is impervious. So the
Right.
water will come down through the mud till it hits the clay, and then it will build up, and that's why your swale will take the water for the first small rain. But if you have a few rains in a row, the swale becomes saturated, the mud becomes saturated, and the water builds up, and it can't pass through the clay, so it has to sit there and evaporate over time. But if you have rain again, then it just keeps filling up.
And then you get mosquitoes, and you can tell it's doing that because if you've ever stepped in it, like maybe to get to the mailbox, I have a couple times, you sink
Yeah,
in your grass
it's
pretty
just
far
muck.
because it's saturated and it's just sitting there. So I've noticed across the street where they did the swell work that they're not having standing water anymore. So
So they resloped it.
they did reslope it, and then they did put new sod in there also.
Right.
So I think that them doing the problem areas first is going to actually help
Oh yeah,
help the city drain some.
they need to get rid of the bigger problems first and work their way out, because we still don't have, we still have a small number of swale teams, so we still can't get it
And
done.
they're hiring. If you look on the website, they're hiring. If you know anybody that likes to do that kind of stuff, so
Oh, there you go.
they're hiring.
People that need a job, there's look on the city website. There
Yeah.
might be jobs.
There is jobs. There's quite a few jobs on there, and I don't understand why there are so many.
Well,
I
Who
don't
knows?
understand why there's so many. I mean, that's a whole nother spider web I don't really want to get into.
Could be a matter of attrition or whatever, but yeah, but there are jobs available. So if you have qualifications or whatever, go ahead and check out the city website, look up the jobs, and maybe go ahead and apply, and maybe you'll get one.
Maybe.
You know, they come with medical insurance and all of that, so not a bad gig.
No, it's not a bad gig at all. I mean, it's a beautiful city. We just have a few things that are,
Yeah, we come on here and
you
we
know,
talk a lot about issues and all of that stuff, but it's not to be negative because the city's absolutely beautiful.
right.
It's to preserve the beauty and
It's
to
just
get
because
people
we love it.
educated.
We
Yeah,
love the city and we feel like everybody should know all the same things.
yeah, yeah. We need to. Everybody needs to be educated.
Right. I mean, I I have found out so much about Palm Coast just by attending the city council meetings the last year, just by paying attention to how they do the budgets and the presentations and all the different things like that. So I've learned a lot of stuff just by, doing that, talking to different members on the council and things like that. So there's room for people to learn stuff around here.
Sure.
And
yeah.
there's room for things to change around here. If enough people think the same thing should change, then the voting will show that.
Well, I'm out of topics now and tired because I've been standing at the
He's going to be at the library again tomorrow, so we're going to get
all
him
day.
home and get you fed and rested for tomorrow. Because Alan will be at the library, and a bunch
Yeah.
of us will be in and out tomorrow at the library too, helping the
Yeah.
campaign.
Thank you.
I have to work tomorrow evening, but I'll be there for a little bit for you tomorrow.
That's awesome. Well, everybody, I'll tell you what, if you have questions you'd like to have us answer on our next episode, which hopefully will be next Friday, if you have questions, go ahead and send them in on Facebook when you see this this video go up, and send us the questions and we'll try to get to them.
Yep, I'll write them down and we'll get them answered for you.
So in the meantime, have a great week. Please get out and vote for Low.
Vote low.
And
Vote low.
hopefully we'll get her done.
Yep.
You
Vote
have
low.
a good night.